no chance.
What's up, everybody? Episode 6 here, right?
7?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Episode 6 of the No Chance podcast. As always, it's your boy Ryan.
It's your boy Nate.
And we're glad that you guys are back listening to us. I know it kind of seems like a long time. I think we uploaded it, on Monday?
Yeah, so we had a few days hiatus, but we're back.
Yeah.
And
we didn't
another
fall
episode.
off. We never fall off.
No, never.
And what you're hearing in the background right now is actually in lieu of this, sort of all this talk about national anthems. We decided to throw our favorite national anthem, the Dipset anthem.
The only anthem I'm standing for.
The only anthem we're standing for. Bird Gang.
Aside from the International Players Anthem.
That's all.
Or the Rough Riders Anthem,
also,
which are also acceptable anthems to stand for.
Man, that is awesome. Yeah, the only anthems I will ever care about, to be honest. But yeah, so welcome to this week's episode. We're going to be talking about a little bit of everything. There's a lot of shit going on right now.
I think the overarching theme for this episode is basically just how the internet influences everything.
And
everything.
It's been fucking with us lately.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, so this past week, I actually went up to Chico.
Yeah.
I stayed there for about 3-4 days, and basically what I did was I literally was off my phone the
Is
entire
this the story
time.
you said you were going to tell?
This is the story.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to tell it to you earlier because then it would ruin the moment.
Yeah, okay.
But
Anyways,
basically,
continue.
so I stayed off my phone for what seemed like 2 to 3 days at a time. Wasn't really on it. Didn't really have anywhere to charge it because I was just drunk the past 3 days.
Yeah.
So I wasn't paying too much attention
week.
to it. But there was something crazy in how that made me feel. Was I didn't feel disconnected. I felt relieved. Like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and I wasn't constantly checking my phone and wanting to be in the know. I was just I'm just gonna freeball it, go get some coffee, read a newspaper, which I haven't done in years.
I didn't know those still existed.
It was the weirdest feeling, and sort of when that happened, I started to think what the fuck would we do without this stuff?
Yeah,
and then it came all right, well, this is gonna be a good ass topic for our podcast because I was like, well, how is our phones and technology and just social media being ingrained in not only everything in our daily lives, but in terms of streetwear and fashion in general.
Yeah, and I think technology and the internet and all that stuff is just so intertwined with everything else that it's just kind of, it's hard to avoid talking about it. I know we talked about it in so many other episodes, but it's just such a big topic.
It's not really something you can avoid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally, there's always updates because technology is constantly, changing. But in terms of it being in our daily lives, it's constantly different.
Yeah, it's
Instagram updates
its
shit every week.
Yeah.
So there's always a new feature that can be ingrained into what we do.
Yeah.
But let's kind of get into, I guess, the first topic that we kind of talked about is there's so many different things that technology is doing to streetwear. Not only is it within, the streetwear community, products that are being sold that are quote unquote streetwear, and then there was one more.
The whole experience.
The experience, yeah.
The whole consumer experience of going into a store versus purchasing something online. Yeah. That whole deal.
And we're going to do our best to really touch on all three of those because, I think, and we both agree, those things have been drastically changed over the years due to the
easily
internet.
within the last 5 years.
Exactly, So I guess let's start with, my personal favorite right now would be just the difference now using, social media, online retailers, as easy as swiping up on an Instagram story to go to a web store. Yeah. How has it changed for you? Do you still I like going into stores.
Yeah,
I'll travel to another city just to go to a skate shop or a boutique. Do you still do that type of stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it just gives me more of I'm a very visual, very tactile kind of guy. So I like more things that are hands-on. Yeah. So I think for me, going to an actual store and just taking in that sort of experience is really important for me. Yeah. Just so I get an idea of what that store is about or what that brand is about. So I think that's a really important part for me as far as the whole consumer experience.
Do you ever get like when you go into these boutiques? I know they've always had this reputation for being kind of vibey in a sense that like it makes you feel awkward. Do you
Yeah.
ever get that feeling when you go? Like you're just like, I don't know if I'm supposed to touch all these clothes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think just the higher end ones in general,
Yeah.
but I feel like a lot of kind of like the streetwear shops,
Yeah.
places like that, skate shops, things like that. I feel like I don't know if it's I feel like I fit in more there as opposed to not fitting in at like a high end boutique. But I don't know, just something about those types of shops
In a sense,
feels
like
more
you
welcoming.
fit in with the community.
Yeah.
Like we can like talk about the same things.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like I could relate more to the people that work there, I guess, than
No, that
as
makes-
opposed to
no,
like
that
a
makes
boutique.
sense. Like I
Yeah.
don't think, well, on a person-to-person level, I'm sure that me and some sort of retail worker at a Louis Vuitton can get, you know, into a conversation and have something in common.
Yeah, for sure.
But in terms of like Louis Vuitton stuff, I don't know if I can, you know, dive that deep into with this person.
Yeah,
about, like,
exactly.
oh, like this collection. I'm like, I don't know shit about Louis
Yeah,
Vuitton. Like,
but if you go into like a streetwear store, like a
Oh,
skate
yeah.
shop, you'd be like, "Hey, do you remember this? Or do you
Yeah,
remember this?
yeah.
Or like, what do you think about it?"
and I mean
X, Y,
that's
and
the
Z.
biggest thing that I think is kind of changing over time is we start to see the switch from person-to-person interaction within retail stores and now this interpersonal like social social commenting through Instagram posts or like
Yeah.
forums, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been the type to really like do too much in terms of like Instagram comments. Like I'm not on like the famous people's Instagrams and like going on these back to forth diatribes
Yeah.
of like people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like ever since I started, you know, getting into streetwear, I've always wanted to go to the stores because sometimes they didn't have an online web store.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all that they had was their brick and mortar store because I think they were covered in like, you know, maybe magazines or maybe on like an online article. And it was before, I guess, an online web presence was considered to be cool.
Yeah.
Because it's not, right? I mean, it wasn't back then. You know what I mean? Like, not too many really thought about having an online store. Like,
Yeah.
how long was Supreme around before they opened up a web store?
Fucking at least like
Almost a decade.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a decade.
I think they
Yeah.
opened up their online web store maybe in 2000 and
Was it 2004?
Around there,
2006, something like that. Like early mid 2000s
yeah,
kind of.
and that's crazy to think of because there were. I mean, not only did they not have the technology for the infrastructure of the internet, but they also didn't give a fuck about having that stuff because people were coming in store.
Yeah.
You have any like fucked up experiences or like good memorable experiences from going into like stores? Like you remember it when you were younger?
No, not really. I mean,
Really? Nothing stands out?
Not really. For the most part, like whenever I went into a store like Supreme or whatever, like it's been cool. Nothing remarkable, nothing good or bad. It's just been kind of like,
damn. I have so many like good stories because every time we would go to a new city, I think maybe like the first time I went to New York, it was like a New York-Boston trip when I was maybe like 16. And I told my parents like this is the list of stores that I want to go to. It was Supreme, Flight Club in New York. There was a DQM.
Ooh, DQM.
Dave's Quality Meats.
Yeah.
And there was another one that I forget off the top of my head, but I really wanted to go to those stores.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Why are we going to a butcher shop?" And I'm like, "No. It's
different.
It's just the name of the shop." And I forget where it is in New York, but I remember we were walking for like what seemed like an hour, just to find this place. And we get there. I forget what skater was there that day that I went, but I just remember going in there, being so happy to being in there, looking at all the stuff. I didn't buy anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I went there too. The first time I went to New York, I didn't buy anything.
But it's just like that feeling of like, oh, I see this place all over I see it all over the place, and I see them collaborate with all these, companies, and it's just like, I just want to see that it exists. Like, I want to see that it's a real place.
It's like visiting like the Statue of Liberty for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
just
see
like,
it all the
wow,
time.
I'm just seeing it in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're only there for what, like 15 minutes, and you just go off to Shake Shack.
Yeah,
and you're
right.
it's like, okay, you're real.
Yeah.
I fuck with you more now.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean those experiences have always been my favorite. And then I guess the other notable one would be there's a really cool shop. I think it's in Boston. I'm pretty sure it's in Boston. It's called Bodega.
Oh yeah, Bodega for sure.
But the crazy thing about it is like the entrance to the shop is
like an actual bodega.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I think you go, there's a guy sitting there like he owns a bodega, and you're just like, oh, this isn't the place.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I was like, can we go in? He's like, yeah, open the door. I'm like, where's
what
the door?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's a vending machine.
Yeah.
Like you open the vending machine, you walk in, and you're just like, holy shit! It looks like it's like a gentleman's club in here. Like not in a sense like a strip club.
It's almost like a speakeasy kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that sort of like experience is always going to be ingrained in my head, and just being like, these, even though I didn't actually buy anything.
Yeah.
Just experiencing it made me even more and more into streetwear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It was always a really cool thing to do, especially whenever I went out to like different country or different cities and countries.
Yeah.
But I think the experience now, like, I don't give a fuck about going into stores really much anymore. Yeah.
Like that same kind of like excitement isn't there for you anymore?
It's not there. Not only have I experienced it, like I've experienced Supreme.
Yeah.
Like I've gone to Supreme in different cities and different countries, and it's the same bullshit there. Like they don't have anything.
Sure. Yeah.
So like I already know if I go to New York right now, I don't have to go to Supreme because I know I'm not going to get anything there.
Yeah.
So why waste my time? But I've only learned that after going there repeatedly amount of times, you know what I mean? But I guess now it's just the excitement's not really there for me anymore. I'd rather wait online for like an online store web drop and be like, oh, it's dropping right now. I got to go get it. And that's it.
And I think that's kind of the point that we're getting at here is that a lot of people actually prefer like e-commerce shopping online because it's more convenient for them in some ways, and
it's a lot more convenient.
They can kind of avoid a negative experience. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a good point that we didn't really talk about, is that
a negative experience.
A lot of people go into stores like this and maybe like they don't really look like they would shop there. Maybe like they think the people working there are judging them, whatever. Maybe they want to avoid all that. Maybe they just want to get their stuff, sent their mail, so they don't have to deal with all that. Maybe,
you know what it is? And I just read this article posted, I think it was through Time, I'm not 100% sure. But it basically said how being on our phones is causing us to be like clinically depressed. Like not only does it lower our self-esteem, but it also just makes us insecure. Like all these negative things, right?
Yeah.
So imagine how that correlates with wanting to shop online. It doesn't make you want to go in the store, maybe meet the manager, meet the owner.
Yeah.
Talk about clothing, talk about what you're into. Hey, does this fit? Try things on. Like that's an experience. That's a consumer experience that a lot of people like us, we would just go to a store and try stuff on for the hell of it and not buy anything because we were there to experience it. But now you can literally just click the link in an Instagram bio, go straight to their web store, buy whatever you want without talking to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And now you're technically a quote unquote loyal customer. You know what I mean? But is it not fucked up?
I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, I get e-commerce and that it makes things more convenient for everybody. But I think the downside is that you're not getting that one-on-one experience or that sort of kind of community built around these sort of stores, around going to these stores and actually talking to people, meeting new people that are into the same stuff as you. So I think it's negative in that aspect, but
where's the positive aspect, I guess, in
I mean,
like
one
transformation to e-commerce?
Like one, it's convenient.
Definitely.
And I don't know, what's another positive thing? I don't know. It's kind of hard to.
I'd say prices then, because on e-commerce you're obviously going to get everything.
That's true. It makes things more competitive.
Yep.
So therefore, if
Sales
you don't
sections.
Yeah. So
the first things we usually click on to go see. Well, like for me, I'll go to look at a lookbook. I'll go to look at their newest seasonal collection, and then jump straight into that sales section.
Like,
and be
okay, that's cool. But,
what is in my size?
Sale?
What's filtered?
Yeah.
All right, what do they got? And then I'll just go at it that way.
And I think that's another thing, accessibility, which kind of goes hand in hand with convenience. But like we were saying in previous episodes, before you had to go to the actual store to buy the stuff. You couldn't go online. But now you could buy anything. You could buy something from a store that's 6,000 miles away from where you're, 3,000 miles away from where you are.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and have it delivered at your doorstep.
Yeah, and you're right. Like it's like on a sort of this balancing act of is it good, is it bad?
Yeah.
And I'm usually a skeptic.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one hating on something and trying to disprove something that people hate. But for this one, I can't, because there's positives and negatives to this, and it just evens out to just being okay regardless.
Yeah. Ooh, another thing with this is because it's more accessible, I feel like geographically speaking, like you're seeing less and less distinct styles because it's accessible to everybody, you know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So like, for instance, like what's available in New York, anybody can buy. So
That's
New York
so
never has
true.
that like distinct New York look.
So
LA doesn't have that look. San Francisco doesn't have that look.
That's
anymore,
so
you know
true.
what I'm
Like
saying?
you used to be able, and it was, I mean, it's kind of blurred, but
Yeah.
back in the day, but like during, I'd say, the Huff days is like a good, you can almost call it an era, like the
Yeah.
Huff golden era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
people would line up at Huff, they'd get that new all over print Quake or whatever, you know,
Yep.
like that. It's like a uniform,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have the fitted hat with the shirt, the baggy jeans with the rubber band ties, and then some SB Dunks,
Yep.
or Air Maxes or Jordans, whatever. They weren't you could get something similar in terms of another brand, but if you're in New York, you're getting what, like what's in New York?
Fucking
Acapulco
yeah,
Gold,
yeah.
10 Deep, you know, like, or even, I think that's
Was-
LA at the
what about-
time.
what
Crips
about
and
A-Life?
Castles, A-Life. There you go. That
Yeah.
was the big one out there.
Yeah.
A-Life. There's a lot of those, but there's slight distinctions. Maybe one of them's not too much of an all over print. Maybe
Yeah.
one of them's just like a black scale, it's just like a symbol or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was a substantial difference in telling like where somebody was from based
Yeah.
off what they were wearing.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you can't even tell.
Yeah, exactly.
The only minor way that you can tell nowadays is if you see somebody in like a European brand. Maybe. Because
yeah.
then you're like, either they paid a premium, paid like $40 shipping
Yeah.
to get that over here, or they're probably visiting from Europe or something.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing nowadays that you can tell that's drastically different.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just weird to think about. It's all the topics that we're going to cover today are kind of like interrelated.
Yeah.
I just realized that right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think e-commerce has a overall like a net negative effect or a positive effect, or is it kind of a mixed bag? Is it kind of both?
I think if you're putting stuff into categories, right,
Yeah.
or into boxes, you say like this is a positive aspect, this is a negative. I think socially it's a negative. E-commerce is detrimental basically to streetwear and fashion
In terms of like the community?
in terms of the community. So
Yeah.
the social aspect is tarnished,
Yeah.
basically. But in terms of accessibility, in terms of product, in terms of what was the third category we're talking about? So we had social, we had product, and we had
we were talking about like the consumer experience.
there you go.
Yeah.
So if we're thinking of the social aspect and we're thinking of the consumer experience aspect, it's detrimental to
Well, I
streetwear
feel like the
fashion.
consumer experience aspect could go either way, because either technology can help the consumer aspect if it's done if it's done well.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put that in the neutral pile.
Yeah, that's
We'll
kind of
put
like
that
a
in
pro
the
and a con.
If we're looking at it like a Venn diagram,
Yeah,
we'll put it
it's
in
like
the middle,
yeah,
the little
yeah.
like half oval like circle.
Yeah.
So socially detrimental, consumer experience wise, it's proven to be good and bad.
Yeah.
And then on the positive side, fucking, we're getting whatever we want whenever we want it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that could also be seen as a negative. But that's
Yeah.
like in terms of, just kind of spoiling us. But
Yeah.
so let's talk about that one in the middle then, because we can go both ways on it.
Yeah.
It's a very neutral topic. Consumer experience, like we come from a retail sort of background, and we are able to understand what goes into consumer experience
Yeah.
and what brings people to a store to be brand loyal in
Yeah.
a sense. So what do you feel about consumer experience in terms of just streetwear and fashion right now with technology?
I don't know. I think it could be helpful if you actually decide to use it and use it for its intended purpose.
Yeah, of course.
So obviously, like a lot of brands these days have their own app or whatever, things like that, like their own way of engaging with the consumer.
Yeah.
I think if it's done well and it actually is helpful,
Yeah.
then I think that it's good in that sense.
And there's a lot of good and bad examples of this.
Yeah.
A good example would be, I mean, Nike's always top tier when it comes to consumer experience because that's what they sort of thrive on.
Yeah.
So like a sneakers app, their social media sort of presence. They have, apps just to buy on their web store. Like, I don't think anybody goes into their browser anymore and puts Nike.com. You know what I mean? Or Nike store,
Yeah.
It's just open up the app, type in the item I'm looking for. My car's already connected. I'm checking out. Some bad ones, in my opinion. Have you ever been on Cave Emp's website?
I have, yeah.
That one's
that one's super buggy.
The user interface is really trippy.
Really, yeah.
It's like it makes it hard for you to shop.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's there.
Yeah.
That's just
it's kind of like a maze of a website.
Yeah, exactly.
If that puts it in perspective.
Like, how do I know what's available? You want to know a funny story? And I just read this. The guy that designed the Cave Emp website is also the guy that designed the Supreme website back in 2004.
Yeah.
There's an article about that.
Yeah. What the fuck
It starts with an S. I forget his name, but he's the guy that's responsible for doing basically the online consumer experience for websites in terms of all these streetwear. Big shots.
It's pretty popular too. Yeah. It's pretty well known.
It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I think just in terms of just that consumer experience, I mean, we want convenience.
Yeah.
So if we can go online to not only like the actual company's website, but to 4 other websites.
Yeah.
Like, what do you call those websites? What do you call a Hypebeast shop or HBX? What do you call a Moose Limited? What do you call an End clothing? What do you call like a Mr. Porter? Like, you know what I mean?
It's more of just like a, I
don't
know.
You're looking at them like Nordstrom.
Yeah.
Like an online Nordstrom, but they house all the brands that we're looking for.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just more of like, I think the general term would just be an e-commerce site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Mr. Porter, they're only an online retailer, right? They don't have any physical brick and mortar locations.
Oh, no, yeah.
I know End does. End has a brick and mortar location.
Yeah.
At least one that I know of. But I don't know, just sites like that, it's weird because they don't have a place that you could actually go to and shop at.
Do you ever, so say you wanted to buy something from like APC.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to the APC website first? You know what I mean? Like, you go to the company's website before you go to all these other e-commerce sites?
I usually go to the e-commerce site,
yeah,
honestly.
Exactly. Why, why do you think we do that? Because we know we can snag a deal somewhere?
Yeah, exactly. Because I know on APC, they're usually going to keep it at full price for the longest amount of time that they can.
And
but
free shipping.
Yeah, exactly. But I know I could get a better deal on like another site like End or even like Mr. Porter.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And it's it's just a weird way of thinking about it, because if I wanted to get a Huff t-shirt, I have to go into San Francisco to Huff. Yeah. And they might not even have it.
Yeah.
But that's the risk that I take because I want something that's limited. So if I can get it on 4 different websites and my size is available in all those websites,
you're not going to go to the store, obviously.
I'm not going to go to the store. It's like order it on my phone.
Yeah.
Is it sort of like, am I starting to feel that it's not as cool anymore?
The brand itself, or going to the store, like the experience,
the product
retail experience.
Is the product no longer as awesome, as unique, as one of a kind? If I know that anybody that goes on this website, can snag it.
Well, I mean, to me, yes and no. Like, obviously, like something that's widely available automatically loses that kind of like cool factor, if you want to call it that. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really inhibit me from buying it. It's just like, okay, like another person could be wearing this.
But now let me ask you a real question. If somebody or one of our friends decided to wear what you thought was cool because it was widely available, would you care? Do you know what friend I'm talking about?
Hey, shout out to that guy. You know who you are.
Would you still buy it? Even if you bought it before you, would you buy it after?
Probably not, to be honest.
See, and that's the same idea. Like, if you really think like broad scope, there's probably somebody that's not to say that our friend is this, but there's probably
dude, even like you and me, like I'm not gonna buy the exact same thing that you're gonna buy
because it's readily available, and you know that if you were to send me that link, I'm snatching it. But that's the fucked up part about it is like it still is in a sense like you still get that like community aspect to it, because if you like were to bring that item to a forum and you see like 10 other people wearing it, it's just like it's not cool. Yeah. Or like if you were to, it's the same sense of if you were to go to that store and somebody buys the same thing you buy, you're just like, you kind of rethink it. Like, I don't know anything.
I'm kind of, exactly.
And I guess that's just the part that just gets kind of skewed with an online e-commerce site, is because, well, I think of it whenever I see it, it's just like, fuck, like 10 other people probably have this. Yeah, or, I already saw this on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, damn it. And, I mean, it kind of messes with me, but...
So that'd be like another negative aspect of like e-commerce. Yeah. It's just... Ooh, what?
You know what we didn't talk about is e-commerce also kind of meshes with the community aspect. Oh yeah, in the sense of there's all these new consumer to consumer type business business plans,
like a secondhand like retail site, like a Depop or Poshmark or like Grailed or something like that. Yeah,
let's talk about Grailed. Because we're both, like, we're on that heavy.
Yeah, I am. Like, every day.
When I first found out about Grailed, I thought it was fake. Like, it
just sounds fake.
It was,
like,
it was almost as if, like, somebody had mentioned it in a Hypebeast forum. Yeah. And then everybody, like, all the comments following after were just like, why the fuck did you do that? Now everybody knows about it. Like it's like letting the cat out of the bag. Yeah. Like, but when I looked at it, I was like, wait, you can get all this stuff and it's all real and it's like you can bid, and it was like a more authentic eBay. Yeah. But the filters were
more of like easier. A curated eBay.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Like the stuff that we like. Yeah.
And I think that's the trend of where this is all going to go to. Yeah. You know, like, I don't mind if a person's wearing a shirt one or two times, and I'll just rebuy it. Maybe for a little bit cheaper, hopefully for a little bit cheaper.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, what do you think? Do you think that that's where, you know, streetwear selling or streetwear commerce is essentially heading towards?
No, definitely. I think that's a reason why Grailed is so popular, is because people like you and me, like the average consumer, can find good deals on stuff that might not have been readily available, let's say like 5 years ago. Like 5 years ago, would you have been able to buy like this Japan exclusive whatever? Nope. No, you wouldn't have been able to get your hands on it.
Probably
you would have had to pay like
there.
You would have to pay like a ridiculous amount for it. But now it's all readily accessible. Yeah. So anybody can basically get their hands on anything these days. Which is cool because like people like you
personally
and me,
for us it's cool. Yeah. But when we think about it in the sense of, we all know that streetwear is there's a sense of like self-expression. Yeah. Right?
Or something like everybody wants to stand out from the crowd. Everybody wants to be an individual.
They want to be, you know, the most educated. They want to be the big dogs when it comes to something.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just like a human nature thing. Yeah. But once you turn it into something where it's just like, okay, now I know that everyone has it, it kind of changes your mindset a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, I think sites like specifically Grailed are good because they actually do a lot more than just being like a platform for buying and selling. They actually do a lot of other stuff too. Like
they give you like
history, like they give you like background history on brands, items, things like that. They do a lot of like write-ups and articles about different things. So
they're very current with like the stuff. So if they know that there's going to be a big drop release, and they'll have like this is all the things from that drop that people are selling, so come look at it, because they know that people are going to be looking for that. I missed out. I'll go to Grailed.
Or like, this particular piece was inspired by this, or this is a history of this designer and why they're relevant, things like that.
And they have a good knowledge of it.
Yeah. I think they're a good resource. Yeah. Not even just for buying and selling. Sometimes I just like to go on there to read, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, I doubt the people at eBay really give a shit about.
No, they're just there to make their
that's why there's hella
whatever
fake
percentage
stuff on there because they can't decipher between the two.
Yeah.
Let's segue into the third one then, because we talked a little bit about, you know, the community aspect that e-commerce is kind of destroying. I mean, we could both agree on that part. And then the sort of retail experience mixed with e-commerce. Let's talk about the sort of products that are coming out through technology.
Just how technology is furthering the products that we're buying.
Yeah, so maybe like 3D printing is huge.
Yeah.
Right? Adidas created like the first sort of 3D printed silhouette. The entire outsole was 3D printed. I think it was called TechCraft or some shit like that.
Futurecraft, TechCraft,
something like
it was
that.
Called. Yeah.
That was a big deal, and it kind of is transcended into wearable technology.
Yeah.
So, what was like do you know what the first sort of like big wearable tech thing? Not even doesn't even have to be clothing. I don't mean like the invention of like a material like rayon. But I mean like you know
that's
what I mean.
good. Learned about that in my
Rayon's
fabric
cool.
class.
I like rayon.
But anyways, I think the first major kind of like wearable tech pieces were, I think, accessories, right?
Yeah.
Like something like a Fitbit or something like that.
It was advancing like the dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like a pedometer. You could literally get pedometers in Kellogg's cereal
like a
boxes.
cereal box.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes like even McDonald's would give them out, like in the fucking.
That's so like backwards. Like I need you guys to walk to McDonald's. Every time you walk to McDonald's, make sure you have your pedometer.
Or like the Nike Fuel Band or something like that.
That might have been the first one that really said like, "Hey, future, we're coming for you. Like we're approaching you."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this all goes back to like every kid when they watch Back to the Future really made you think like, "Holy shit, that could be a thing."
Yeah.
Like auto lacing shoes obviously are like is like the biggest thing
That's
right now.
a fucking thing now.
Like
That's
it's
crazy.
real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the jacket he wore, the self-drying jacket was a big thing. So these things are now real. Like the transition of like where technology is taking materials, like dry fit wasn't a thing.
No.
Like Nike dry fit wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And now your shit can pretty much dry on its own nowadays, but not in the sense of it as actual machine.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like we're in the future.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And that's crazy, right?
Because clothes are becoming more than just pieces of fabric that you wear. They're becoming like
an extension of your body almost.
Yeah, or like an extension of at least the device that you have.
Yeah. So I guess as of right now, I mean, we read these two articles. We'll post it on our Twitter. But we were kind of looking into, you know, what's going on in wearable
technology.
Yeah,
that sort of.
But it's kind of jumped from actual like wearable tech, meaning a watch, you know, maybe some Snapchat glasses, or you know, I don't know, like wireless headphones. Like that's wearable tech. But like, what's another word to describe the clothing that's tech? Maybe like
you can't say technical clothing because that just means like.
We're gonna call it
acronym or whatever.
Yeah,
like
I don't know,
whatever.
But whatever. There's gonna be some sort of term to describe a piece of apparel that has
some sort of like technology, housed within it.
Apparel. No, I don't know. But yeah, so looking into that, Levi's is doing this collaboration with this company.
It's Google. Yeah.
I said this company
Google.
like it was some
like there's some random company
startup tech.
It's like no one's ever heard
randomly.
Yeah.
But doing this collaboration with Google in incorporating certain commands on like the wrist area of the jacket.
Yeah, so basically what it is it's kind of like an extension of your phone, I believe. I think there's an app linked to your phone that also connects to this piece that goes into the left wrist of the like a denim jacket,
like how Buzz Lightyear had his little thing on his wrist that you could lift up. It's kind of like that, but on your jacket.
So basically, you can program different commands onto like 3 different functions on there. So you could swipe left, swipe right, or like double tap it, and you can program different commands to correspond to each sort of action. So basically, it's an extension of your device that you can wear on your wrist.
Wow.
Which is no different from like an Apple Watch.
It's
honestly.
no different.
But it's literally within your piece of clothing, a jacket. So
and
it's weird.
That's so I think it's ridiculous.
Well, I think was it a commuter thing? Like, I think their
the jackets?
Yeah. I think it was part of their commuter line. So I think the idea behind it was a little bit more ergonomic.
Yeah.
Kind of feel for your device while you're riding your bike or skating or whatever. So you can, access your device while doing different stuff.
I guess I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
But I just, personally, I don't think I can mix the two. So if I'm going to have my technological devices connected to the clothing I'm wearing, I feel like I'm going to be a bit more on my toes about what I wear. Like, I can't be in the rain. If I have to jump in a pond to save, a little dog or something, I'm not going to want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, clothing and just like the shoes like that we wear, it's based off your lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I guess because we're so like ingrained into this SF tech community, we start to see it a lot more. Like techies, riding boosted boards, wearing the AirPods.
I hate boosted boards.
With the backpacks with solar panels, like. They're all digital. They're damn near Tron, like just riding around the streets. But for us, just the normal person, just kind of the skater or the whatever.
Yeah. I guess I'm the whatever.
Yeah, I kind of point at you like whatever.
But yeah, anyways,
but like it doesn't make sense for us.
Yeah.
Unless the future requires us to have that.
Yeah,
like
I think the reason why we're not so kind of enraptured with this sort of is that a word? Is that a word?
That's a great
word. Anyways, I feel like the reason why we're not so big on it is because we don't really need it to function in our everyday lives. Like it just seems unnecessary to pay for a $400 jacket when I can just take my phone out of my pocket and do the exact same things,
But if you think about it, it sounds kind of fucked up. It almost like backtracks the sort of like face-to-face communication, because if I don't have to pick up my phone and I can just like push on my wrist, we can make eye contact, or like we can talk more, or like whatever, you know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah,
it kind of does it backwards in a sense, but I don't think that's their purpose of like, oh, we gotta increase person-to-person communication, so let's put some shit on your wrist. Like it definitely doesn't make sense. I also saw another one where they were printing, like it's like a form of printing a battery.
Oh, into the fabric itself?
Into the fabric, on the backs of fabric. So I guess one of the things that I was seeing was like almost like a windbreaker, but it changes colors. So like you can literally change the color of your windbreaker.
Oh, was that the one where it was like their LED lights on the actual like piece of clothing itself, and then it connects to an app? Mm-hmm. And you can change the color. There's like a color wheel where you could change the color.
The same way that you can like if you were to have like they have these like new tech lights that you can keep in your room and you can change the color of that.
Yeah, don't they have that on cars too now?
Yeah. I see it on like Uber drivers have it on their like little like logo for their placard. But just imagine that, like I only got to buy one jacket. I can change it to any color I want for any event.
That is crazy to me.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
How many times?
I didn't even think about that.
I don't even have to go
shopping. I thought it
was
dumb at first.
I don't even have to go shopping anymore.
Yeah.
I better keep it clean.
You know what I thought was the really stupid portion of that?
What?
Is that you could program music to sync up with the colors so that every time there's like a little thing of bass, like it changes the color, which I think was...
No. We're gonna go back in time to about 2010. The first like wearable technology, other than the fuel band, was a T-shirt with like a small TV screen square on it that would have like levels, like bars, and you connect it to your phone.
Really?
And it would play. Or it would play the music on your phone, like through the speaker on it, and then the fucking design would go up and down. And I thought that was the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Because that used to be a thing. Like
actually,
hoodies,
I've never seen that before. But
did you ever see the hoodies with the headphones that were like right here?
Oh yeah, and
that's wearable tech. Like that was some dumb shit.
Yeah,
it's cool, but it looks stupid.
Yeah.
Like I can only imagine like. Imagine if Carhartt, like a workwear brand, decided to put on their hoodies headphones because they have to go do construction and they need like earplugs. Like, just imagine, like, how crazy would that look?
Yeah, I don't know. So what do you think is the future? How do you think technology is going to further, like, what are we going to be wearing in the future?
I think it's going to go two different ways. I think it's going to, and I think Acronym and Nike are doing a great job at this. Acronym, because they make you look like a fucking ninja. Like, the way you look in the future is basically how you're going to look in, I mean, all those futuristic movies, they know how it's going to look, so we're just sort of mimicking that, like, in the sense of, like, probably going to be all black.
But I'm saying, do you think everybody's going to look the same?
No.
Because
there's going to be two different attires. There's going to be the commoners, meaning we're going to be in the black ACG outfit with looking like a sleek ninja that just came out of, like, Watch Dogs, the video game.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be the upper class, and they're going to be wearing the Tron uniforms, the jackets that change color.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think because of wearable technology, like something like whatever, like that color-changing jacket, do you think everybody's just going to have the same sort of, everyone's going to have it? Yeah.
It's going to be auto-lacing shoes and a jacket that changes colors, and that's all people are going to wear. Because why would you, if you had a shirt that changed colors and a jacket that changed colors and a pants that changed colors, and you have one app that changes the colors to all of them?
I just thought of a great idea.
Why the fuck would you buy more outfits?
What about a t-shirt where you can upload your own graphic?
Oh!
And switch it out whenever you want. That would be crazy. Fucking insane.
Even if you had like a machine that you just run it through,
yeah,
and the graphic just boom right on top, you could just take
buy a 6-pack of Gildan tees.
Oh
and
my
god,
set. Dude, that would be so fucking ridiculous. You think streetwear is gonna exist? You think fashion is gonna exist?
I don't know, dude. That's so crazy to think about.
Think about it like this. Imagine like an old fashion house, like a Louis Vuitton, right? Imagine if, like they, quality goods, they don't want to jump into this new school way of doing clothing, like wearable, crazy technology. You get this random startup company comes in, it's like, hey, we're going to make these jackets that change color. We're going to make these shirts that change color. We're going to make hats that change color. And then everybody catches on to that. All right, is anybody going to buy Louis Vuitton anymore? Maybe the social status, like the upper class people are wearing these like changeable color changing apparel. Does anybody give a fuck about these old like fashion houses?
I don't know. That's a good question. That is a very good question.
Will they eventually get pushed out of the way? Because I didn't see Louis Vuitton in Back to the Future.
Like, so basically the question you're asking is, will brands either have to conform to this sort of future technology, or will they die off because they choose not to? I don't know. That's a good question.
What are they going to do? I mean...
Fuck, I don't know.
Okay,
as a consumer, though, would you still buy it, or would you just go with the future technology?
I'm going to go with the future technology, because somehow, some way, there's going to be some sort of future technology where people are just going to get so lazy and be like, should I get these high-top Louis Vuitton shoes, or should I get this shoe that fucking auto-laces every time I put my foot in it? Because there's only going to be two social status. You're going to have the dope clothing that probably it's going to cost like $5,000 for this hoodie that changes colors. Shit, like I want to look like the rich people.
Well, I think it's going to come to a point where it's either you adapt as both a brand and a consumer, or you get left behind. For instance, like look at VCRs. Who the fuck owns a VCR these days?
Exactly.
Like no one's using VHS tapes. Yeah, no one's using a VHS tape.
People still put VCRs to record on like programming that's on TV.
Dude, nobody even listens to CDs anymore.
Come on.
I only started using iTunes maybe in like
most cars don't even come with CD players anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's going to be the case. Either you adapt and get with the current situation, whatever the wave might be, what wearable tech, whatever it is.
Look at the companies that are I wouldn't say following the trends, but advancing with the current, I guess, where the current market is, right? So who the hell knows where like some of these VCR companies went? Like, has anybody bought a Toshiba TV recently? Or
I mean, they make TVs. I mean, they make flat screens now, I'm pretty sure.
They probably do. There's probably a bunch of like Zenitech. I don't know. That was like an old TV. They don't make shit anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not going to just be like, okay, I'm not going to make that because I'm like this I like VCRs, so I'm gonna keep making VCRs. Okay, you're gonna go out of business in a week.
You don't
Blockbuster
out.
Hell, hey,
I don't
Netflix.
want to do no online, no subscription. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Come to our store. Come get some popcorn and some candy, and like go home.
Fuck all that.
No,
I'm staying at home in bed. I'm staying at home in bed.
I'm gonna pay this monthly.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna watch 1,000 movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah,
it's just the trend. Like, and I've noticed this with a lot of companies. It's like there's a lot of like companies that are strictly like will die and stick to like print,
which I think is very noble, but
it's fine.
Yeah, it's very noble, but at the end of the day, you're still going out of business.
You're going out of business, and unless you're the type to be like, oh, I'm not doing it for money.
I'm just doing it because
I love it.
Yeah.
Then fine, like go love it when you're retired with
go be washed up and broke.
Washed up. But like a lot of these streetwear companies are starting to get that. Like, they're following the trends. I'm gonna release the bomber, the denim, the distress.
Yeah.
But they're also like doing these like cool collaborations with, like wireless speaker companies or fucking.
Well, I think I just thought of it. There's this sort of like paradox. It's because not even having to do with wearable technology, but I think just in general, I think a point that I have to make is when you adapt, when you sort of advance with the trends, you kind of almost kill yourself off at the same time because you're the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
So I think it goes both ways.
So are we looking at like in the future one brand to rule them all?
I don't know. It's weird to think about because there's this sort of dynamic where either you have to be the same as everybody else and be on that same playing field, or you die off, which can be good and bad because everybody is the same. There's no sort of like individualism. Maybe here and there, like there's some like distinct styles, but it's all going to be the same at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you're right about that. Like the market only dictates so much. Like you can be as creative and expressive as possible.
Yeah.
But like one day later on down the road, the market's going to change all that. They're going to be like,
the invisible hand, man.
You have to sell your shit at Zoomies, or you're done.
Wow, I didn't know this turned into an economics podcast.
No, but it's so true. Like, if you look at a lot of the creatives that start off as just like, oh, I want to create my own shit. Mm-hmm. I want to do this. I don't want to collaborate with no brands. I want to release my own shit. Eventually, a big corporation's going to come and be like, hey, do you want to sell your stuff here? Oh, no?
We'll give you this amount of money.
Okay, all right. Like,
yeah.
Why the fuck not? You know what I mean? Like, look at some of the more independent brands, or like that have started off a little bit smaller, like a Brain Dead. Like, they're
still pretty low key.
They're pretty low key. Oh, let me come out with a collaboration with Vans. All right, now they're like
everywhere.
Something. Yeah. Oh, now he's something. Like, and then like a Chinatown Market, like one of my personal favorites. Like when it first came out, literally started as an Instagram brand, right? Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, exclusive collection at Urban Outfitters. Ooh, exclusive collection at Zoomies. Like, I respect it. Like, I'm still gonna buy it because I love it.
Are you?
But is it like? It's not selling out. I need to stay alive. I need to keep my brand alive. Like,
that's true.
I'm not trying to sell out, but I need to.
Looking at
there's like 1,000 different startup brands on Instagram. Like, I'm getting this offer. I don't want to be another Instagram failure. Yeah. I want to fucking make it. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to sell my shit somewhere, and that's just what's gonna happen.
Dude, all this shit's so crazy to think about.
It's depressing. It's depressing, man. But for the most part, I can see sort of streetwear sort of live on for the next 10, 20 years.
Hopefully. Shit.
Hopefully, none of these tech startup companies decide to listen to this podcast and make that shirt and then shut all the shit down.
If a tech company wants to sponsor this podcast, we would be open to that. So
we're looking for donations.
We are looking for sponsors / funding.
We'd love to advertise your cloud storage system or something like that.
We'd be great at it.
Some USB discs. We'd love to do that. But yeah, man, I mean, so what's the sort of like end all be all that we see with this like e-commerce shit that's happening? Like not e-commerce, but just like this online sort of realm of where streetwear is at.
I don't know. I think just everything in our daily lives is becoming so intertwined with the internet and technology.
Definitely.
It's going to be hard even for something like streetwear, which seemed kind of very inaccessible in terms of like tech brands being involved with it, whatever. Yep. I think in the future it's just going to become the line is going to be more and more blurred.
Definitely.
Which is good and bad, but I mean, hey, what can we do about it?
Exactly.
Nothing really.
We obviously don't control shit.
Yeah.
We're not even, the biggest podcast out there, so our voices don't matter yet.
Yeah.
But I'd say just for something for people to sort of eat off of for this episode is, do your best to support your local mom and pop brick and mortar stores while they're still alive.
Yeah.
Everybody has their favorite shop that they just maybe randomly strolled into one day and has now become the thing that they love to go visit when they can. They have the person that's working there that on a first-name basis.
Yeah.
You formed a bond with them, and now you're a loyal customer. So do your best to always
just enjoy not having to wear shirts that have the fucking music thing on them.
Just try your best to stay away from that shit as long as possible.
Yeah. Just enjoy it while it lasts.
Thank you. And realistically, like we always say at the end of every podcast, is really just wear what you like for as long as you can, for however long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We want to say thanks to all our listeners for listening to the podcast.
Thank you guys.
Definitely. The way to help us is to fucking like the stuff that we put out, and also, retweet.
I was going to make a really bad joke, but yeah. What? Never mind. No, continue.
Anyways, like our stuff, repost it, tell your friends about it. We're going to start putting up videos on YouTube so you guys can start to see it.
Instagram content. Eventually get our own site up and running, hopefully within the next few weeks.
Follow us on all our social media, No Chance Podcast. And that's episode 6 or 7. We'll find out at the end of this. You know what I mean?
Figure it out.
So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Later.
Peace.